Hey, everybody, welcome to Monday's edition of The Weekly. And this is February 22nd, 2021 here. And just thrilled to be joining you guys today. Hope you're having a great Monday, and I hope your week is off to a great start. So if you're joining me live here, appreciate you taking time to do so. Or if you're watching this afterwards, I also appreciate you taking time to do so. Want to give you some things that are going to be helpful to you from a communication standpoint so you know what's going on. But I also want to just share a few things in the life of our team, things that tie into our culture and things that I think that we can and should celebrate together. So we've got a nice full episode for you today. First thing that I want to start out with, though, is just want to celebrate what happened this weekend in our services. We had 10 baptisms at the 10:30 hour in our service. 10 baptisms. 9 of those were students, young students, and one was a lady who had given her life to Christ recently, and celebrate that as well. Just any age of believer that comes to faith in Jesus that gives him their sins and takes on his righteousness. That's worth celebrating because we know all the goodness and richness that is going to be added to their lives. So this is right here, just a recap of what happened on Sunday morning. And then, of course, throughout the weekend, Friday night and Saturday, we had D Now weekend, which was a great weekend. I know it's different this year since we had to go all virtual, but had a great band in for the weekend and just some great volunteers to love on our kids. Here's a few shots. Of course, no D Now weekend would be complete without eating some type of weird food. And this, I think, this is Will Kirk right here. Yeah, Will's about to eat what looks like milk and flaming hot Cheetos. So pray for Will. I'm sure he's having a rough Monday after all of that. But yeah, there you go. Can't imagine that's an appetizing combo there, but Will didn't seem too fazed by it. Anyway, great weekend, great D-Now weekend. I just want to thank those of you. There was several of you from the worship team who served to make D-Now weekend happen, and appreciate you guys. It's not a light commitment. It's a full weekend of serving and pouring into our students, but also it's a good thing. It's good work, and I just appreciate you guys doing that. You're gonna make an impact on their lives that is going to far outlive you and far outlive just the 36 hours or so of the investment that you all made. So thank you very much for that. Okay, well, let's get into some updates and some information that I need to pass along. First thing today that I want to talk about Sunday morning rehearsals. Now, when we came back from our little COVID quarantine episode that we had back in the first part of last year, when we came back in June, one of the things that we did, and it was a really practical thing, but one of the things that we did was we stopped having Wednesday night rehearsals. You'll remember that we used to rehearse from 6:30 to 8:15 on Wednesday evenings, and because of the new Sunday morning schedule starting at 9 o'clock and then doing a service at 10:30, that really opened up the opportunity for us to keep our same Sunday morning rehearsal time, which was 7 o'clock, and just do one rehearsal Sunday morning and continue on. I think that has worked really well. I don't know. I know I've had conversations with you all, and most of you have really loved that Sunday morning setup. However, we do have an issue that is starting to crop up. And I don't think we're going to have to move back to Wednesday nights, but I do want to get your help with this because I think it's going to start having an effect on how we're serving on Sunday mornings if we don't nip it in the bud. And that is the time at which we are actually starting and getting started with rehearsal is getting later every single weekend. The last 2 weekends, rehearsal has not begun as far as like we've not started playing and rehearsing and working through the first song until 7:15. Well, when you only have an hour and a half window right there, I mean, that's 1/6 of your time is already gone by that point. And so Sunday morning, I know I bring this up a lot and I know I harp on it, and you can curse my family to the, to 4 generations, whatever. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I do want to ask for your help in getting rehearsal started at 7 a.m. And that means we are on stage. We've got ears. We've got our instruments set up. We're tuned up. We're checked out. We are ready for the downbeat of the very first song at 7 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Please help me with this. Let me give all of these caveats because these are true caveats. Number one, I understand that it's early. I understand that families that have kids, it's difficult to get out the door and here. Totally understand that. I understand sometimes Saturday nights are late nights. This past Saturday night, we were all here until 10 o'clock, just getting the stage turned around and ready to go for Sunday morning. Totally understand that. Sometimes you've got commitments that last late on Saturday evenings that prevent you from getting here. And I will say I totally understand that. However, as a way of life, I want us to be early and I want us to start on time. This is a discipline and a habit that I think will have great long-term effects even outside of just how we sound and how we play on Sunday morning. I think this is one habit of being intentional. It's a habit of being disciplined that is just healthy, and it pours health and life into the life of our team. So please, Sunday mornings, as often as you are able to, please arrive early enough so that you can have your instrument set up, have it tuned up. If you're working behind the scenes, make sure your equipment's on and that everything is fully functioning, and be ready to go. Let's make 7 a.m. not let's not fall into 7 a.m. and try to pick up the pieces as we go along. But let's come at 7 a.m., be intentional, be ready to go, and just bring some energy, because there are people coming after us. At 9 o'clock, there are a group of people who are coming in who need to meet with the Lord, who need to sing these songs and sing the truth about who God is, who need to connect with one another. And not only do we not want to be a distraction of that, that's the lowest bar that we want to hurdle, but we want to be facilitators of that. We want to be the ones through whom, the conduit through whom the Lord can work and impact the lives of those who are coming in. So Sunday mornings, 7 a.m. rehearsal. Please be early. Please be ready to go at 7 a.m. And let's just have some fun with it. I love our Sunday morning rehearsals. I have so much fun working through the music together. Of course, I love serving with all of you. And whenever we have a full team engaged and just excited about what's going to happen, the energy in the room really is electric. So thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. Second thing I want to talk about today is upcoming schedule for Easter. We've got a few things happening the 7 days between Palm Sunday and Easter this year. The first thing is we're going to have a worship night on Sunday, March 28th. This is a Holy Week worship night. This will be at 6 o'clock p.m., and we're going to be in the worship center, in the main sanctuary. We have done worship nights, different locations, at different points in the past, but this year, in order to accommodate as many people as possible, and to facilitate just everything else that we have happening around Easter time, it's going to be best for us to do this worship night in the main sanctuary. Sunday, March 28th, 6 o'clock p.m. This will set us up for Holy Week. And then Monday, Thursday is happening on Thursday, April 1st, 5, 6, 7, and 8 p.m.s. And 8 p.m., excuse me. Yes, and don't let the fact that this is happening on April 1st throw you out or throw you off. This really is happening on April 1st. This is not a joke. This is not a prank. You won't show up and discover that, oh no, there's not actually Monday, Thursday. We're doing Monday, Thursday on Friday this year. It's not a joke. So for those of you who were anticipating that, I anticipate that this coming weekend there will be several Monday, Thursday jokes about it being on April 1st. Well, bring them on. Let them come. I love the jokes nevertheless. So there you go. That's happening on April 1st. And then our Easter weekend services will happen on Saturday and Sunday. This year at our regular service times, 5:30 p.m. and then Sunday, April 4th, 9 and 10:30 a.m. I'm kicking around right now having that be a same band all weekend and maybe do it in the main sanctuary just to, number one, keep the energy high, and number two, I think Easter tends to be a big weekend, and Saturday night especially on Easter tends to be a lot bigger than normal. But we'll talk that through, and I'll let you know for sure what we end up doing that Saturday night of Easter. But all that to say, those times are locked in, and that's what's going to happen. Okay, let's get back here to the main screen. One final thing, I guess there's two final things today that I want to roll through. You might have seen my video last week about the new talkback system in the worship center. Well, as sometimes happens, there was a little bit of an issue with the talkback system, and it really didn't work this weekend. So we're going to troubleshoot that coming up this week. But for those of you who missed it, here's a quick recap of that video so you know what's happening with the talkback system. Hey, I want to show you guys something today. This is something new that we put in for the talkback system on the weekend services. And these are just called sign-off boxes. And it's just a mute switch for the talkback mics, or this one in particular is the MD mic. But I want to show you, we've put these in 3 different locations so we can increase our communication across the stage. So spot number 1, the MD mic just happens to be up here at keys 2. But typically this would be back at keys 1, which is a little dark right now. But here's spot number 1. Here's spot number 2 with the horn mic. This will be at tenor sax. You've got your mute on, mute off switch right there. Spot number 3, here we go. And here's spot number 3. Sorry, it's a little bit dark back here, but down in the dark recesses around the feet of the drummer, there is another box. So those can stay muted when you're not using them, and then if we need to communicate in between services or during the service, you've got the ability to do that. All of those mics run into my ears, into Dennis's ears, into the speakers of projection, into the ears at front of house, and then into the speakers that go backstage. Also, I think it's important to know how to mix. We're going to skip that for right now as far as how to mix that. That's just specific to the audio engineers at front of house. But I hope that's helpful for you. If you ever need to hear that Dennis's talkback or the drummer talkback, anything like that, or if you want to hear projection or backstage, on the console, it'll be labeled as horn and then TB. Anytime you see the initials TB, that stands for talkback, just so you know. Also, big thanks to Randy and Jeff. They have been experimenting and working with our new console to get the iPad app up and going with it. It's a little bit different of a setup than what we had with the Soundcraft with the VI6. But this weekend they had it up and going with DNow. There are still a few things that we need to do to make sure that it's stable for all the iPads that we want to put on it. But just as soon as we can, we'll get you guys up and going with the new app. I'll send a link out to that so you can download it, and then you can continue to mix your own ears Also, one additional thing as far as in-ears are concerned for the Sunday morning services, those of you who are keys players or drummers, you'll know back before we switched over to this new replacement console, we were using the Avion system. And I'll let you know that the Avion system, with this switchover, we are officially retiring the Avion system in the main worship center. We're still using it up in the student area, but retiring it in the main worship center. And we're actually going to go, for the keys and for the drums, we're going to go to a wired set of in-ears. If you've ever done one of our remote worship nights where we've set up either in the parking lot or in the gym at Christmas time, we use a couple of wired in-ear packs for that, so you'll know what that looks like. If you're not a drummer, if you're not a keys player, this won't affect you really all that much in any way, but just a heads up so you kind of know what's happening there behind the scenes. That's what's going on there. Okay, final thing today, I want to go through the set for this weekend. I want to hop over to Planning Center and take a look at what we've got planned there. And as I do this, if you guys have any questions, just put them in the comments below, and I'll reach out and answer those. We'll have week number 2 of Reasons to Believe. I forgot to mention this earlier too, but if you missed this weekend's service, I linked to the 10:30 service in the description of this video for a couple of reasons. Number one, so that you could check out all of the baptisms, you could see everything that happened there, and well, actually, that's kind of the main reason. It was a good service, and I want you guys to see the baptism. So go check out that video; it's linked below. This second week here of the series Reasons to Believe, we're going to be in John chapter 1, verses 43 through 51. We're going to be learning from the story of Jesus calling Philip and Nathanael. If you'll remember that from the first part of John, Jesus calls Philip and says to him, asks him to follow him, and Philip then goes and seeks out Nathanael. And Nathanael is a little skeptical about who Jesus is. He says, how can anything good come out of Nazareth? That's where that line comes from. And then his encounter with Jesus tells him, hey, Nathanael, before I knew you, before Philip called you while you were sitting under the fig tree. And Nathanael says, oh my, you must be the Son of God. And Jesus' response to that was, you because I said I saw you sitting under the fig tree, you believe me, you will see things that are greater than this. Great story, really important in the life of Christ and in his work on earth. And so you won't want to miss this message coming up this weekend. But let's go back to Planning Center. We will have no pre-service music this weekend, so we'll have the 5-minute countdown timer. 2 opening songs, and then we're into welcome and greeting. Nate Bach is doing welcome and greeting for this weekend's services. We'll then transition back into the set. We'll do Worthy of Your Name and What a Beautiful Name. Now, these 3 songs right here are pretty straightforward. Listen to the rehearsal tracks on them. Make sure you're comfortable with that. But What a Beautiful Name, first of all, I want you to note the key. We're in D flat this weekend. Typically, we'd be in the key of D, but we're going to lower it down by 1 step so that it fits in Terry's range a little better. We'll be in the key of D flat, and we're also doing a mashup between What a Beautiful Name and Break Every Chain. If you want to see an example of what that looks like, now it's a much more extended example than what we're going to do. Check out the link, again, that I put in the description. It's below this video if you're on Facebook. It's in the description if you're watching on YouTube. Check out that link, and you can see the mashup there. But Brendan will also be putting a link, he'll be putting a custom rehearsal track that has those changes in it. So do be sure on What a Beautiful Name. That's an important one to check out there. Listen through What a Beautiful Name. Make sure you're ready to go on all of that. Okay, and then here, finishing up the service, it'll be our standard run through. We'll do our bumper video that we've been using for this series. We'll have the message, and then post service will be the closing will be pretty standard. We will walk out. Our walkout song will be a reprise of Glorious Day, and we'll do that chorus. Basically, we're starting after the second pre-chorus here. We'll do that chorus 1 through verse 3, bridge, all of that through to the end of the song. So hope that all makes sense, and should be pretty straightforward. Again, if you have questions, just reach out. We're happy to answer anything, any questions that you may have. I want to leave you today with this. This quote is one that is repeated probably ad nauseum in worship circles, but comes from one of the standard books on worship leading called Worship Matters. It's by an author and a worship leader named Bob Coughlin. Excellent resource, and in fact, if you've not read it, I recommend reach out or take a look at it on Kindle or even buy a physical copy of the book, because it really is rich and full of great just wisdom whenever it comes to worship leading. But he has a section here called the 20-year rule. I think I've quoted this many times in many different settings, but I thought it's just good words for us today as we're coming out of a weekend of D Now where we've really focused on building into and leading the next generation. I think this is a good and sobering reminder here for us here. So this is what he says under the 20-year rule. He said, if someone was born in our church, grew up singing our songs over the course of 20 years, how well would they know God? Would these songs give them a biblical and comprehensive view of God, or would they be exposed only to certain aspects of his nature and works? Would they learn that God is holy, wise, omnipotent, and sovereign? Would they know God as creator and sustainer? Would they understand the glory and centrality of the gospel? Or would they think worship is about music and not much more? May God give us grace to lead worship and choose our songs in a way that reflects his care, wisdom, and faithfulness. Love that quote, and it is excellent wisdom around the songs that we sing. The songs that we sing are much more than preference. It's much more than what's trendy. It's much more than what sounds good in our range. Our songs are food. Our songs are food, and we give our congregation every week the best, most rich spiritual nourishment and food that we can through the songs that we sing. All right, well, I've used up all my time for today. I hope you guys have a great week. Looking forward to this coming weekend, last day of February. It's hard to believe March is a week from today. Well, I hope you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you later, and take care.